Um, have you ever noticed that the very second you open your eyes in the morning, you're just instantly thrust into this high-stakes psychological negotiation,
Oh, absolutely. Every single morning.
right? I mean, it's 7 a.m., the sun is hitting the floorboards, and immediately, before you have even stretched, you have to decide what kind of momentum is going to define your entire day.
Yeah, it really is a choice, isn't it?
It is. Are you going to, rocket out of bed and conquer the world? Or are you going to ruthlessly defend your right to just like 5 more minutes of peace?
Usually the 5 minutes of peace for me, honestly.
Right? Same here. The morning routine is just this absolute battleground of conflicting energies. And today we are going to explore that battleground through a very specific, incredibly charming piece of source material.
I am really looking forward to this one. It's so unique.
It really is. We are looking at a slice-of-life audio drama script set in the universe of The Littlest Pet Shop, or LPS. It is titled Rise and Shine, The Moon Shadow Adventures, written by a creator known as Shadow Wizard, or Shadow Breaks and Fox.
Such a great title, by the way.
Yeah, it sets the mood perfectly. And to truly appreciate the delicate architecture of this morning routine, we are going to do something highly intentional on this deep dive today. We are deliberately slowing down our pace.
Yes, very intentionally.
We are taking a remarkably gentle, unhurried, and calm approach to this conversation, giving ourselves, and you listening right now, plenty of time to absorb the mechanics of this story.
It is really the only way to genuinely understand the material, I think. Because if we rush through a script that is entirely about the micro frictions of a morning routine, we just miss the underlying human experience, or, well, in this case, the feline and canine experience.
They miss the texture of it.
Right. We'd miss the subtle ways these characters attempt to control their environments and each other. And to ensure we capture every single nuance of these character dynamics, we have established a strict rule of engagement for our exploration today.
And it's a very important rule.
It is. We are going to perform every single line of dialogue from this script in exact sequential order, from the opening scene all the way to the closing cliffhanger. We are not skipping a single sigh, a single line of inner monologue, or a single scene.
Not a single one.
Right. You are going to hear the story exactly as the writer constructed it.
And as we gently unpack this narrative, we are not just going to tell you what happens. We really want to explain the why and the how behind the character's behaviors.
The psychology of the morning.
Exactly, the psychology. So to do that, I will be weaving in some very playful, easy-to-understand comparisons. We're going to use these metaphors to crystallize exactly what is happening in the emotional engines of these characters.
I love that approach. It makes it so tangible.
Yeah, it really grounds it. So it is a slow, methodical journey, and we are starting right at the genesis of the day. Part 1, the waking hour.
Let's set the stage.
Let us construct the physical space for you. The script opens on a bedroom set. If you are familiar with the aesthetics of Littlest Pet Shop, you can picture the glossy, brightly colored, perfectly miniature furniture.
Oh, I can picture it perfectly.
Right. It is exactly 7 a.m. The room is flooded with cheerful morning sunlight.
And within the sunlit room, we have our primary dynamic duo. We have Emma, who is described in the script as an energetic cat, utilizing the classic walking cat physical mold.
A very specific, very active mold.
Exactly. And we have her brother, Kyle, a sleepy kitten. So how about we split the roles? You take the high-velocity energy of Emma, and I will adopt the sluggish, resistant energy of Kyle.
Oh, I am so ready to be Emma. Let us step into scene 1. Emma is hopping around the bedroom. Her voice is intensely high-pitched. She says, "Rise and shine, sleepyhead. It is morning."
And Kyle is just moving at a glacial pace. His voice is incredibly drowsy, like he's fighting gravity. He says, "Is it really? It feels like 3 in the morning, Emma."
Emma closes the distance, moving right up to Kyle's bed. She says, "It is 7 a.m. We have a whole day of adventures ahead of us. We could go to the park or the cafe or the beach."
Wow, she's not holding back. Kyle lets out a massive, heavy yawn here. He says, "Or we could stay right here and nap for another hour?"
A completely fair counteroffer. But Emma vehemently shakes her head. She says, "Absolutely not. I already made a checklist. Number 1, breakfast. Number 2, morning dance party."
A dance party at 7 a.m. That is intense. Kyle sits up, but just barely rubbing his eyes. He says, "You and your lists, fine, but I am not dancing until I have had my kibble."
Emma immediately picks up a little bag accessory. She says, "Yay, I will bring the breakfast. I found the best little bowl of plastic snacks in the kitchen."
Plastic snacks, I love that detail. So Kyle is looking around the room, completely disoriented at this point. He says, "Did you see where I put my phone?"
Emma starts giggling. She says, It is right next to you.
Kyle clumsily paws at his head, then grabs his phone. He says, "Oh, right. Okay, let us go, but I am walking slow."
Emma is already bolting toward the exit. She says, "Last one to the kitchen is a rotten egg." And she lets out a sharp whistle.
Ouch, the whistle. Kyle sighs, and it's a sound of absolute resignation, but there is a slight smile there. He says, "She never stops, does she?" He sits up slowly, getting out of bed, immediately checking his phone for messages. And that concludes Scene 1.
There is an immense amount of psychological friction happening in those few short lines, isn't there?
Oh, completely. It's a tug of war.
Let us break down the underlying mechanics of these two personalities for you. Emma is pure, unadulterated kinetic energy.
She really is.
To give you a clear image of how her internal engine works, think of Emma as a human alarm clock. But she is not powered by standard batteries. She is plugged directly into a sparkling, high-voltage glitter outlet.
A glitter outlet that is perfect.
Right. The mechanism here is that she generates her own momentum. The absolute second the clock hits 7 a.m., the circuit closes, and she is buzzing with unstoppable, blindingly bright energy.
The glitter alarm clock. It is a powerful visual because it implies an aggressive disruption of the room's peace, you know? Now, contrast that mechanism with Kyle. If Emma is plugged into the wall, Kyle is a smartphone running on exactly 1% battery.
Oh, the dreaded 1%.
Exactly.
Ah.
We all know the mechanical behavior of a device at 1%. The screen dims automatically to conserve power. Background applications shut down.
You can't even open the camera.
No, absolutely not. It is in a state of desperate survival, trying to delay a total system failure. That is Kyle's biological reality at 7 a.m. He is clinging to consciousness, operating on absolute minimum viability, and begging for a charging cable, which for him is an extra hour of sleep.
I really want to make sure you keep this in mind. Let's repeat this because it's the core of their entire relationship. Emma is the glitter alarm clock. Kyle is the 1% battery.
Yes, remember, Emma is the glitter alarm clock. Kyle is the 1% battery.
Emma loves checklists. Kyle just wants his kibble. Let's say that one more time for you. Emma is the glitter alarm clock. Kyle is the 1% battery.
Emma loves checklists. Kyle just wants his kibble. That's a perfect summary.
But I want to challenge Emma's behavior here, though. I look at this scene and I genuinely see a deeply boundary-breaking dynamic.
Really? How so?
Well, Emma is awake, therefore everyone must be awake. She is imposing a checklist, number 1, breakfast, number 2, a literal dance party on a brother who is barely conscious. It feels like a tyrannical use of that glitter alarm clock energy. She is completely ignoring his biological state.
I have to push back on that interpretation, actually.
You don't think it's tyrannical?
Not at all. You are viewing her actions as malicious or tyrannical, but if we look at the ecosystem of a teenage morning routine, Emma is the necessary catalyst. Remember, today is their first day of school.
Oh, right. The stakes are a bit higher today.
Exactly. Left to his own devices, our 1% battery, Kyle, would simply power down. He would fall back asleep and completely miss the entire day. Emma's hyper-organization, the checklists, the manufactured excitement of a dance party, these are not weapons. They are scaffolding.
Scaffolding? That's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, she is building an external structure to pull her brother into the waking world because he lacks the internal momentum to do it himself.
So you were saying she has to overcompensate. She has to be at a level 10 because he is at a -2, just to get them both to a functional baseline of like a 5.
Precisely. It is the physics of energy transfer within a family unit. She demands a dance party. He counteroffers with walking slowly and eating kibble. They negotiate a middle ground. He gets out of bed. The system works, even if it is built on friction.
That is a fascinating way to frame it. The glitter alarm clock is pulling the 1% battery out of the dark.
Yeah.
Now keep that delicate balance of momentum in mind because as we move gently into scene 2, we're going to see exactly what happens when the architect of the morning suddenly loses her own blueprints.
Ah, yes. The chaos begins.
We are moving downstairs into the kitchen. Part 2. Kitchen chaos and the missing phone. The environment changes. It is a classic kitchen set, complete with a table and cozy chairs. And the timeline advances. It took them 20 minutes to get from the bedroom to the kitchen. It is now 7:20 a.m.
Here, the script introduces a critical stabilizing element, Gracie. She's a Persian cat, LPS mold number 082, and she operates as the mother figure. Her energy is entirely different from the siblings. I will read for Gracie and Kyle, and you continue channeling the relentless momentum of Emma.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Emma comes hopping into the kitchen, her voice still pitched high. She says, "Good morning, Mom."
Gracie replies with an incredibly warm, steady tone. She says, "Good morning, sweetie. You want your bowl of kibble cereal, it on the table."
Kibble cereal.
Delicious. And Kyle is trailing behind, moving slowly down the stairs, his voice heavy. He says, "Good morning, Mom."
Emma immediately pivots to interrogate him. She says, "It is 7:30 a.m. What were you doing up there for so long?"
Notice the time jump in her dialogue there. Kyle yawns loudly again. He says, "Just getting ready and checking messages Luna said to meet her at the fast food place."
Emma aggressively shakes her head. She says, "Absolutely not. I already made a checklist. Number 1, breakfast. Number 2, go to school on our first day."
Gracie interjects, keeping the peace. She says, "Good morning, sweetheart." She slides a bowl of cereal toward Kyle. "Eat up, dearies."
Kyle sits down at the table, methodically rubbing his eyes. He says, "You and your lists." "Fine, but I am not doing nothing until I have had my kibble." Emma grabs a food bowl accessory and starts eating rapidly. She says, "Yay! This is so yummy."
Kyle stops eating and looks around the table. He says, "Where's your phone at?"
Emma giggles confidently. She says, "It is right here." But as she reaches for it, she stops. The realization hits. She says, "Oh no, I left it in my room."
Gracie offers a very mild, non-judgmental response. She says, "Oh no, that is not good. You better go get it."
And I'm going to read Kyle's next line here as he takes charge of the situation. Kyle paused at his head in frustration. He says, "Oh, right. Okay, let's go. Look for your phone."
And here, the script gives us a devastating time jump. The text explicitly states 15 minutes later after finding the phone.
15 whole minutes. Emma is suddenly running toward the exit. She says, "Come on, brother, let's go meet up."
Kyle lets out a long sigh, but manages a small smile. He says, "She never stops, does she?" Gracie walks toward the exit door behind them. She says, "Goodbye, sweethearts. Have a great first day of school."
And both siblings reply in unison, "Goodbye, Mom, and we will." That brings us to the end of the kitchen chaos.
Wow. We really have to unpack the profound irony of what had just occurred there.
It is incredibly ironic.
Let us look at the mechanism of Emma's failure here. The very person who initiated the morning rush, the person who constructed the rigid checklist, the person who just berated her brother for taking too long upstairs, is the exact person who brings their forward progress to a grinding 15-minute halt.
It is cognitive tunneling in action.
That's a great term for it.
Yeah, Emma is so hyper-focused on the abstract concept of her checklist, the idea of productivity, that she completely loses track of her physical reality. I have a comparison for this that makes the absurdity of her situation perfectly clear.
Let's hear it.
Imagine a very loud, very authoritative train conductor. They are standing on the platform, frantically blowing a brass whistle, pointing at their pocket watch, screaming, "All aboard! We're leaving right this second. Stick to the schedule." And then, as the passengers board the platform, the conductor turns around and realizes they completely forgot to bring the actual train.
The conductor who forgot the train. It is a brilliant illustration of the gap between perceived velocity and actual displacement.
Right, because she feels like she's moving fast.
Exactly. Emma creates a tremendous amount of noise and stress, which feels like forward movement, but without the crucial tool, her phone, her connection to her friends, they go absolutely nowhere.
And let us trace exactly how punishing that lack of movement is. We really need to look at the timeline because the passage of time is the true antagonist of this story.
It really is. The clock is the villain.
So they open their eyes at 7 a.m. It took 20 minutes of negotiation just to move down the stairs, arriving in the kitchen at 7:20 a.m.
7:20 a.m.
Right. They eat for perhaps 5 minutes. It is 7:25 a.m. And then the critical error occurs. The phone is missing. Because they had to retrace their steps and search the house, a full 15 minutes evaporates. They are now sprinting out the door at 7:40 a.m. The buffer they had for a relaxed morning is completely gone.
Let's make sure you, the listener, really feel that slow drain of the morning timeline. Let's repeat it. It was 7 a.m.
It was 7 a.m.
Then it was 7:20 a.m.
Then it was 7:20 a.m.
Then Emma lost her phone. It took 15 whole minutes to find it. They are running late. Let's say it one more time to really ground us in this anxiety.
It was 7 a.m. Then it was 7:20 a.m. Then Emma lost her phone. It took 15 whole minutes to find it. They are running late.
And I want to point out Gracie's role in this, or rather, her deliberate lack of a role.
Mom, yeah?
When the phone goes missing, the mother does not panic. She simply says, "You better go get it." She does not join the search. She allows the siblings to experience the natural consequences of their disorganization. She is the grounding wire to Emma's chaotic energy.
That 15-minute delay creates a ripple effect that completely disrupts the rest of their morning. And that brings us, methodically, to part 3 of our deep dive, the waiting game.
A very stressful waiting game.
We are transitioning out of the domestic space and into the public sphere. The script moves us to a fast food restaurant. Picture a plastic booth, a small table, the humming fluorescent lights. The timeline jumps forward again. It is now 8:10 a.m. They're officially behind schedule.
In this new environment, we are introduced to the collateral damage of Emma's lost phone. Her name is Luna. She is a cat, specifically LPS mold number 391. Luna has been sitting at this fast food restaurant alone, waiting for the siblings to arrive.
Poor Luna.
I will read for the restaurant staff, the waitress cat, our host Plummy Editon, and later Lily LaRue, as well as Kyle. You take the roles of the waiting Luna and the arriving Emma.
Let us step gently into scene 3. Luna is sitting alone. Her voice is pitched low, calm, but questioning. She says, "Where are they?"
A waitress cat approaches the table. She says, "Good morning. Are you ready to order?"
Luna looks up. She says, just give me a few more means. Maybe they're just running a bit late.
The waitress cat is completely unbothered. She says, "Oh, okay, I'd be waiting." And she casually walks off, humming a happy tune.
And with that short interaction, time slips away again. The script pushes us forward into scene 4. 10 more minutes evaporate. It is now 8:20 a.m. Em and Kyle finally burst through the front door of the fast food place. They are immediately intercepted by the host, a platypus named Plummy Aniton.
Plummy Aniton greets them with modern enthusiasm. He says, "Hello, welcome to the fast food place. How can I help you?"
Emma is rushing. She says, "Hello, we have a reservation under 39."
Plummy Aniton replies, "Oh, yes, queen. 391. We have a short-haired cat waiting for you guys. Follow me to you guys' table." Plummy escorts them through the restaurant to the booth.
At the table, Luna is calmly drinking a mocha espresso. She takes a sip and says, this is so good.
Plummy Aniton gestures to the booth. "Here you are at your table. Enjoy."
Emma quickly says, "Thank you very much." Both Kyle and Emma slide into the booth next to Luna. Luna sets her drink down and looks at them. She says, "Nice for you and your sister to show up."
Kyle meets her gaze with an absolutely deadpan expression. The defense mechanisms are activating. He says, "Yes, thanks for waiting. How long you been sitting at this table anyway?"
Luna replies casually. She says, "Roughly 30 mains. It did not feel that long since I was on my phone using their free Wi-Fi, hee. Anyway, what took you guys so long? I text you like at 7:30 a.m. Without missing a beat, Emma deflects the blame. She says, my brother always being sluggish and forgot that this is the first day of school."
Wow. And Kyle immediately counters. The sleepiness vanishes, replaced by a sharp, defensive southern cadence. He says, "Well, yes, you are half right, bless your heart, about me staying up late. But in my defense, Emma dear, you took longer than a month of Sundays trying to find that phone of yours. Honestly, sometimes I wonder if you would lose your head if it were not attached."
Oof. Luna starts giggling at the exposure. She says, "Wait, Emma, you misplaced your phone,
Yeah.
the girl with the checklist and party planers."
Before the argument can escalate, the environment intervenes. A new character arrives at the table. It is Lily LaRue, a pink Persian cat, LPS pet number 3679. She moves with practiced grace. She says, "Oh, hello there, darling. Welcome, welcome. How absolutely lovely to see you. Now, what can dear old Lily get for you today, sweetie? What treats can I possibly tempt you with?"
And the script lets us hear Kyle's internal calculation before he speaks.
Oh, I love this part.
His inner monologue says, "Give me the usual milk and a blueberry muffin, because I'm sweet but also kind of tart, Then he switches to his external voice, matching Lily's posh tone. He says, "Oh, darling, I simply must have a muffin and some milk, if you please. It is absolutely essential for maintaining one's composure, Emma jumps in, mimicking the refined cadence. She says, "Oh my, I simply must have pancakes and milk, if you please, of course."
Lily LaRue absorbs the orders with extreme customer service sweetness. She says, "Oh, darling, did you say you would like a muffin and a glass of milk? Why, coming right up, sweetie. One muffin and a lovely glass of milk for my favorite, darling. Just you sit tight, dear, and I will have it ready in a jiffy. Oh, darling, did someone say pancakes and milk? Pancakes and milk coming right up, sweetie. Just the thing to warm our hearts on a day like this. I will get those started for my dearest darling right away."
And here, the script delivers another brutal blow to the timeline. The text explicitly states, 20 minutes later.
20 minutes waiting for pancakes. Lily LaRue finally returns with the heavy trays. She says, "Here, your food, enjoy." She distributes the plates and glides away.
Luna eyes the massive breakfast. She says, "Wow, that food sure looks yummy. I did not know they had pancakes."
Kyle ignores the tension and begins happily eating his muffin.
Luna attempts to change the subject. She asks, "So, who are ready for boarding school?" Emma, eating her pancakes, says, "Not me. I'd rather be working at that boutique for the summer."
Kyle finishes his bite. He says, as long as we have the same classes together, I do not mind it. And that slowly concludes scene 4.
There is an incredibly dense layer of social maneuvering happening in this restaurant booth. I want to start by analyzing Luna, because she represents a very modern type of stoicism.
That's a great word for it.
Right. She was abandoned at a fast food restaurant for 30 uninterrupted minutes. Most teenagers would be vibrating with rage. But Luna is entirely insulated from that anger. Why? Because of the mocha espresso and the free Wi-Fi.
It is the digital buffer. Luna's emotional baseline is protected because her smartphone and the internet connection provide a secondary environment. She is physically in the restaurant waiting, but psychologically she is entertained and engaged. It completely defangs the conflict when the siblings arrive. She is not angry, she is just mildly amused by their dysfunction.
Let's repeat that detail to really absorb it. Luna waited 30 minutes.
Luna waited 30 minutes.
Kyle ordered a muffin and milk.
Yeah.
Emma ordered pancakes and milk. It took 20 minutes for the food to arrive.
Luna waited 30 minutes. Kyle ordered a muffin and milk. Emma ordered pancakes and milk. It took 20 minutes for the food to arrive. It is just such a slow process.
It really is. And the dysfunction is magnificent. Let us examine the mechanics of the argument between Emma and Kyle. Emma, feeling the pressure of being late, immediately attempts to offload her guilt onto her brother. She points to his sluggishness. But Kyle executes a flawless piece of verbal judo. He deploys the phrase, "bless your heart."
It is a devastating tactic.
It really is, isn't it?
Bless your heart is the ultimate Southern linguistic weapon. It allows the speaker to deliver a highly aggressive, critical observation in this case, completely exposing Emma's hypocrisy about the lost phone while maintaining a veneer of extreme politeness and concern. He wraps a very sharp strike in velvet. He protects his own composure while completely dismantling her argument.
Which perfectly aligns with what he orders for breakfast. Let us look at his inner monologue again. He orders a blueberry muffin and milk because he recognizes his own personality in the food. He literally thinks, I am sweet, but also kind of tart.
How would you conceptualize that specific mechanism of personality, the sweet but tart dynamic?
It is a brilliant representation of passive aggression. The milk is soothing, the muffin is comforting. That is the sweet. But the blueberries provide a sharp, acidic pop. That is the tart. If we want to understand how Kyle operates socially, we can picture this comparison.
Okay, I am picturing it.
Kyle's personality is exactly like receiving a big, warm, incredibly cozy hug from a friend, but right in the middle of the embrace, they give you a tiny, incredibly sharp pinch on the arm.
Oh, wow, a pinch during a hug.
Right. You are comforted, but you are also suddenly very aware that they can hurt you.
Yeah.
That is Kyle. He is drowsy and agreeable until you push him, and then he pinches you with a bless your heart.
The cozy hug paired with a tiny little tinch. It is a brilliant distillation of his defense mechanism. And we see that sweetness mirrored almost to a toxic degree by our waitress, Lily LaRue.
Oh, Lily is fascinating.
Her dialogue is a masterclass in the emotional labor of the service industry. She doesn't just take their order, she coats every single syllable in sugar. Darling, sweetie, my favorite. She's manufacturing an atmosphere of intense intimacy to soften the reality of the restaurant experience.
And they absolutely need that softening, because the reality of the restaurant experience is agonizingly slow. We have to address the subjective experience of time in this scene. Let's trace the clock again. It is 8:20 a.m. when they arrive. Luna has already endured 30 minutes of waiting.
3 minutes.
Then Emma makes a critical error. Instead of ordering something fast like a croissant, she orders pancakes, a complex cook-to-order item. Because of this choice, they sit at that booth for 20 full minutes waiting for the food.
From 8:20 a.m. to 8:40 a.m., they are trapped in a holding pattern. And the psychology of waiting tells us that unoccupied time feels exponentially longer than occupied time. Luna's 30 minutes flew by because she had Wi-Fi. But those 20 minutes sitting across from a sibling you just fought with, that time stretches out and becomes heavy.
Exactly. The script glosses over those 20 minutes with a simple time jump. But I just can't stop thinking about what it must have felt like at that table, the awkwardness, the lingering resentment over the bless your heart comment. It makes me want to push the boundaries of this narrative.
Yeah.
I want us to try a creative experiment here for part 4, the melodrama screenplay exercise.
A creative exercise. I am intrigued. How exactly are we applying this?
What if we take that specific, terrible 20-minute wait, the space between ordering the pancakes and receiving the pancakes, and we pull it apart? I want you to reimagine this gentle slice-of-life scene as a highly tense, a 24-style psychological thriller screenplay. We strip away the cute littlest pet shop veneer and expose the raw, boiling adolescent frustration underneath.
Oh, I see. We inflate the emotional stakes to their absolute maximum capacity. I love this idea. I will guide you, the listener, through the construction of this scene. To build a proper melodrama, we must start with sensory details that establish an atmosphere of claustrophobia. We need to make the restaurant feel like a pressure cooker.
Okay, close your eyes and visualize the space with us. The vibrant colors of the fast food place are muted. The air is thick, suffocatingly heavy with the cloying, artificial smell of blueberry syrup and old coffee.
Stale mocha espresso.
Yes, stale mocha espresso. The background noise fades away, leaving only the aggressive, rhythmic ticking of the restaurant clock, or maybe a humming fluorescent sign. And at the table, the silence is physical. The casual conversation about the menu fades into a heavy, suffocating silence. The only sound is Luna. She is methodically scraping the edge of her plastic spoon against the bottom of her empty plastic cup. Scrape. Scrape. It is agonizingly loud, like nails on a chalkboard.
The sensory foundation is incredibly unsettling. Now we build the middle. We construct a slow, agonizing suspense. We need performance notes for our actors playing Kyle and Emma. They are trapped in this booth. Notice Kyle's hands. He is resting his paws on the table, but he is nervously tapping his paws on the laminated wood. He refuses to make eye contact. He is staring with lethal intensity at a stray sugar packet.
And Emma, across from him. The glitter alarm clock is completely short-circuiting. Her energetic facade is cracking. She is aggressively smoothing out her physical checklist over and over again, her shoulders stiff, pressing so hard the paper is beginning to tear. Her breathing is shallow. The tension is winding up, tighter and tighter. The 20 minutes feel like 20 years. And then, the structural climax. The explosive ending where the climactic secret is violently forced out.
Yes. The spring finally snaps. Emma cannot handle the silence. She violently slams her fists onto the table, the plastic cups jumping into the air. She screams, her voice cracking with desperation that her perfectionism is just a mask for her chaotic mind. She confesses that she is terrified of her own forgetfulness, and she projects her anxiety onto Kyle because she cannot bear the weight of her own internal disorder.
And Kyle erupts in response. The drowsy kitten is gone. He stands up, knocking his chair backward. He slams his paws down, roaring across the table that her anxiety is stealing his autonomy. He tells her that her desperate need for control trapped him in a house, searching for a phone, stealing his peace, and admitting the delay is entirely her fault. The neon sign buzzes loudly overhead. They stare at each other, chest heaving, the raw, ugly truth finally hanging in the suffocating air, and cut to black.
Wow. That was a phenomenal escalation, taking a minor squabble over a lost phone and transforming it into a profound psychological breakdown over autonomy and control.
It is incredibly fun to inject that level of cinematic melodrama into a story about plastic toys ordering plastic pancakes, isn't it? But taking a very slow, deep breath, let us release that intense pressure. Let us ground ourselves back in the actual source material. They did not scream. They did not break down. They simply sat in mild, awkward silence until the food arrived.
Yes, returning to the gentle, soothing reality of the script. Which brings us smoothly to part 5. The departure and the transition summary. The heavy 20 minutes have passed. They've consumed the muffin and the pancakes. The narrative clock suddenly jerks forward again. It is 8:45 a.m. The illusion of a lazy morning shatters against the hard deadline of the school bell.
Let us read the lines that initiate this sudden acceleration. Emma suddenly looks up at the clock. The realization hits. She says, "Oh, shoot it, 8:45. We gotta go." School starts in 30 minutes.
The script notes the frantic physical actions. The trio scrambles out of the booth, walks rapidly to the front desk, pays for their meals, and heads for the exit doors. Plummy Anaton, the platypus host, calls out cheerfully to their retreating backs, "Come again soon."
But their exit is interrupted. Lily LaRue, our overwhelmingly sweet waitress, comes hurrying up behind Kyle, Luna, and Emma. She says, "Hey guys, wait up."
Luna stops, confused by the breach in protocol. She says, "Oh, hey, you're the waitress, right?"
Lily LaRue nods, shedding a bit of her customer service persona. She replies, "Well, not anymore. It's my last day for the summer. I overhear you guys when I was cleaning the tables, so we go together. I'm Lily, by the way, Lily LaRue."
Kyle, ever polite, says, "I am Kyle."
Luna nods. She says, "I'm Lily LaRue. Nice to meet you."
Emma, feeling the pressure of time, says, "I'm Emma. Come on, Lily LaRue, let's head out together. Maybe we hang out sometime." And the newly formed group of 4 pushes through the doors and exits the restaurant.
Now, before we follow them out onto the pavement, we need to pause. We have a very crucial focus requirement here. We need to take a slow, methodical moment to summarize the entire chronological transition of this morning.
Yes, this is essential.
It is vital to lay out the geography and the timeline clearly for you so we can truly feel the impending whiplash of the final scene.
Let us meticulously review the journey for you, recalibrating our understanding of the morning's pacing. They woke up in the cozy bedroom, they moved to the kitchen where the phone was lost, they rushed to the fast food shop, they ate their breakfast treats, and now they are stepping out onto the sunny street corner at 9 a.m. right before the fancy car arrives.
Let's do that one more time for optimal retention.
Absolutely. Let's review the journey for you. They woke up in the cozy bedroom, they moved to the kitchen where the phone was lost, they rushed to the fast food shop, they ate their breakfast treats, and now they are stepping out onto the sunny street corner at 9 a.m. right before the fancy car arrives.
Let that slow progression sink in. The morning was an agonizing crawl of delays, miscommunications, and waiting. And now they are standing on the precipice of a high-speed rush. The bedroom, the kitchen, the 30-minute wait, the 20-minute cook time, all of it culminates right here on the sidewalk at 9 a.m. The contrast in pacing is about to become incredibly stark.
Which perfectly sets the stage for part 6, the Belmonts and the limo ride. We are transitioning to the final location, scene 5. Let us visualize the environment. It is a street corner positioned precisely between a residential building featuring a distinct blue staircase and the fast food shop they just exited, which has a large sign adorned with a paw print logo. The time is exactly 9 a.m. The tension is high.
Luna, Kyle, Emma, and Lily are preparing to sprint to Rosewood Academy. But then the physical environment changes dramatically. A massive, luxurious limousine pulls up to the curb. Inside are two brand new, highly influential characters, the Belmont sisters.
The Belmonts arrive.
We have Portia Belmont, a blonde collie whose plastic mold features striking blue eyes and two very specific pronounced eyelashes on each eye. And sitting next to her is Brooke Belmont, a collie with a light orange body and darker brown ear fluff. I will voice the energetic Emma, the imposing Portia, and her sister Brooke. You take on Kyle, Lily, Luna, and the limo driver.
I am ready. Let us unspool the complexities of scene 5.
Emma stops dead in her tracks, staring at the vehicle. She says, "Oh, look at that sweet car there. So lucky they do not have to walk to school."
Kyle maintains his carefully constructed mask of apathy. He says, yeah, it's pretty cool.
The door opens. Portia Belmont steps out, dripping with casual authority. She walks over to the stunned group. She says, "Hey, me and my sister seen you walk into school. Do you guys want to ride? We got lots of room."
A generous offer, seemingly.
Right, seemingly. But here, the script does something brilliant. It drops us directly into Portia's inner mind. It exposes her true thoughts. Portia's internal monologue is frantic. It reads, "OMG, he is so cute. Does he like me? Or just, like, see me? Wait, do I look okay? What if he thinks I am trying too hard? Or not hard enough? I hope he thinks I'm cool. Or at least not totally awkward. Okay, deep breaths. Maybe he will text. But what if he does not want to seem too eager? This is torture."
It's pure panic. And meanwhile, Kyle is playing the exact same game. Externally, he replies to Portia with smooth, effortless politeness. He says, "That would be great, thank you."
Cool as a cucumber.
Exactly. But then the script cuts to his inner mind. His thoughts are a whirlwind of southern-tinged panic. He thinks, "Oh, Lord, have mercy, that there blonde collie," you say. Is she fixing to imply something about her disposition? Now, bless her heart, she is cute as a button, but is that all he sees? Focus now, focus. She mentioned her automobile. Does she fancy boys who drive? Kyle, honey, you ain't fooling anyone playing it cool. Act nonchalant now and breathe deep.
Brooke Belmont calls out from the plush interior of the car, "Oh good, hop on in everyone." The group shuffles into the luxurious limo. Portia Belmont settles into her seat and asks, "Everyone ready to go?"
The limo driver shifts into gear and the car pulls away from the curb.
Portia leans back, purring softly to project dominance. She says, "Trending." "How adorable. Well, since you were in my car, you are officially a diamond for the next 10 minutes. Do not make me regret it."
Lily LaRue, completely lacking the context for high school social hierarchies, asks, "Oh, what? What is a diamond? Is that new age nonsense?"
Portia scoffs, a sharp practice sound. She replies, "A fancy rich clique name. Diamonds are forever, but your reputation. That is about to expire. I am Portia Belmont. But you probably already knew that, unless you've been living under a very unstylish rock."
Kyle offers a baseline introduction, trying not to show intimidation. He says, "I am Kyle, nice to meet you." Lily follows suit. "I am Lily." Luna nods. "Hello, I am Luna."
Emma is entirely disengaged, staring at her screen. She says, I am Emma, do not mind me updating my checklist. Portia focuses her attention back on Kyle, her outward voice dripping with condescension to hide her interest. She says, "Oh, sweetie, friends with just anyone. Heavens no, darling. But you, Kyle, what was it you asked? Being friends with you? Well, you possess a certain je ne sais quoi, darling, simply radiant. Quite the looker you are. Perhaps, just perhaps, I will bestow her company upon you sometime. Maybe, darling, just maybe." She gestures casually. "And not my sister." Portia then leans in, squinting critically at Lily and Kyle. She asks, "Are you sisters? You both look kind of the same, but you're purple fur and she is pink."
Kyle and Lily quickly shut down the assumption in unison. Nope.
Emma finally looks up from her phone. She says, "I'm Kyle's sister." Brooke Belmont offers a genuinely supportive, "That's so amazing." Portia Belmont locks eyes with Kyle again, her outward projection working overtime. She says, "Oh, sweetie, the same classes, you say? Well, isn't that a delightful possibility?" Chuckles. "Perhaps, just perhaps, fate will be so kind as to place us together, darling. Would not that be just ever so lovely? We shall see, my dear, we shall see."
The driver's voice cuts through the tension from the front seat. He announces, "We made it to Rosewood Academy. The time is exactly 9:10 a.m., and the scene abruptly ends with a massive to-be-continued screen."
The sheer volume of adolescent social anxiety contained within the walls of that limousine is staggering. It is a masterclass in the discrepancy between how teenagers feel and how they act. Let us carefully deconstruct this dynamic, starting with the architect of the tension, Portia Belmont.
She is a piece of work.
If we look at her strictly through her spoken dialogue, she is terrifying. She is projecting immense authority. She leverages her wealth, the limo, and she establishes an immediate in-group, out-group dynamic by creating the Diamonds clique. She is dominating the physical and social space. But internally, her mind is completely paralyzed by imposter syndrome.
The contrast is jarring, isn't it? She is weaponizing condescension to protect an incredibly fragile ego. She's terrified Kyle will think she is awkward or trying too hard.
Exactly, and the mechanics of her behavior require a very specific, playful comparison to truly grasp. Picture this mechanism.
I am listening.
Portia's outward persona is exactly like a breathtaking, incredibly shiny, violently expensive sports car roaring down a coastal highway. It looks powerful and untouchable, but if you manage to look past the heavily tinted windows and see inside the cabin, you realize that the entity driving this massive machine is a tiny, profusely sweating, incredibly nervous little squirrel who is just frantically jumping on the pedals and mashing buttons, absolutely terrified of crashing.
A nervous squirrel desperately piloting a sports car. It is a spectacular mechanical metaphor for social armor. The massive external machine protects the tiny, vulnerable operator inside. And the beauty of this scene is that Kyle is deploying an identical defense system, just using a different vehicle.
He absolutely is.
Yeah.
Kyle's outward response to the limo and the rich girl is pure, distilled nonchalance. He says, "Yeah, it's pretty cool, and that would be great, thank you." But internally, his monologue is a panicked Southern dialect spiral about whether she prefers boys who drive and desperately reminding himself to breathe deep and act cool. His mechanism is different from the sports car.
What's his vehicle?
Kyle's social strategy is exactly like a duck gliding across the surface of a perfectly still, glassy pond. If you look at him from the shore, he appears serene, effortless, and completely unbothered. But if you look underwater, beneath the surface of his projection, his little webbed feet are paddling furiously, burning massive amounts of energy just to maintain the illusion of forward, effortless motion.
The serene duck hiding the furious paddling. These two mechanisms, the armored sports car and the serene duck, they explain the entire sociological foundation of high school cliques. It is a limousine full of secret panic, expertly mathed by practiced teenage apathy, and realizing the depth of that panic makes performing these lines a deeply fascinating challenge.
Which provides a beautiful transition into part 7 of our deep dive, voice acting tips for beginners. Let's imagine that you, listening to this analysis, decide you want to gather some friends, grab a microphone, and record your own performance of this LPS script. How do you physically manifest these psychological defense mechanisms into your voice? What actionable, practical guidance can we offer you?
The biomechanics of voice acting are incredibly precise. If you want to capture these distinct personalities, you have to consciously alter the physical shape of your vocal tract. Let us look at capturing specific tones first. We have two characters who use terms of endearment, Lily LaRue, our waitress, and Portia Belmont, our rich clique leader. They both call people darling and sweetie, but the acoustic delivery must be fundamentally different to convey their intent.
Yes, the intention dictates the sound. Lily LaRue is using sweetness as a customer service tool. Her darling needs to be drawn out. You need to elongate the vowels, letting the word roll smoothly off the tongue. It is a posh, relaxed, syrupy delivery meant to soothe. But Portia's darling is a weapon. It is sharp, it is trendy, and it is used to assert superiority. The cadence must be clipped, you hit the consonants harder. It is a faster, much more pointed delivery that establishes distance rather than intimacy.
Precisely. The shape of the word changes its meaning. Now, if you are a beginner trying to adopt a completely different physical energy, there are specific vocal exercises you can use to force your body into character. Let us say you are cast as Kyle. You need to project that heavy, drowsy 1% battery persona. I highly recommend a biomechanical exercise called the yawn sigh.
Oh, break down the mechanics of the yawn-sigh for us. How exactly do we execute it?
It is about lowering your larynx. I want you to start by physically dropping your shoulders. Release all the tension in your neck. Now, force your jaw to open wide and simulate a deep, genuine yawn. As you reach the peak of that yawn and begin to exhale, I want you to vocalize your sigh. Speak your lines on the out-breath. Is it really? By forcing the yawn, you stretch the pharyngeal space and drop your vocal cords into a heavy, relaxed lower register. You physically strip the tension out of your voice, creating the perfect auditory illusion of sleepiness.
You can physically hear the difference when you drop the larynx. Now, what is the counter exercise? What if you are cast as Emma, the glitter alarm clock? You need to project blinding, unstoppable momentum.
For Emma, you must move the resonance out of your chest and bring it to the very front of your face. You need nasal and oral resonance. To achieve this, I suggest the bouncy lip trill combined with a high-velocity tongue twister.
Okay, how does that work?
Take a deep breath and blow the air forcefully through your relaxed lips so they vibrate rapidly against each other like the sound of a motorboat. Do this to force blood flow to your lips and cheeks, waking up the articulators. Then immediately transition into reciting a rapid tongue twister and a high pitch. You want to feel the sound bouncing directly off your front teeth. This physical brightness, this forward placement of the sound, naturally forces your cadence to speed up, perfectly mimicking Emma's hyperactive morning energy.
Those are phenomenal, highly practical tools. Lower the larynx with the yawn sigh for Kyle. Push the resonance forward with the lip trill for Emma. It highlights just how much physical manipulation is required to bring these plastic figures to life.
It is a rigorous discipline. And having explored the mechanics of the voice, the psychology of the characters, and the timeline of the morning, we have arrived at our outro, the audio overview review. We have meticulously traced the narrative sequence from start to finish. Now we step back to evaluate the piece as a whole.
Let us start our review by addressing the pacing of the narrative structure itself. Because as we detailed earlier, the pacing is wildly lopsided.
Extremely lopsided.
We have an agonizingly slow, incredibly detailed first act. They wake up at 7 a.m., and they spend over an hour and 40 minutes just navigating the stairs, searching for a phone, and sitting in a fast food booth waiting for pancakes. The story crawls. But then, at 8:45 a.m., it enters hyperspeed. Within 25 minutes, they pay, meet a waitress, leave, encounter a limo, get introduced to a new social hierarchy, and arrive at school. The first half is a glacier, the second half is an avalanche.
The structural imbalance is severe. If we were to step into the script and offer a logical improvement to these characters to fix this pacing, it would be a simple lesson in time management. If your phone goes missing and costs you 15 minutes and you only have 30 minutes until the school bell rings, do not sit down at a restaurant and order a meal that takes 20 minutes to cook. Grab a pre-made muffin. The decision to wait for pancakes is the root cause of the chaotic sprint at the end.
No pancakes in a panic. That is the golden rule. But despite that structural whiplash, how do we feel about the writing quality itself? Is the story actually effective?
I believe it is highly effective. The writing is simple, yes, but it successfully accomplishes the primary goal of any pilot episode. It establishes a complex web of relationships. In just a few scenes, we understand the deeply ingrained friction between the siblings, we see the unshakable loyalty of a friend like Luna, and we are introduced to a complicated, multi-layered antagonist in Portia. The foundation for a compelling high school drama is firmly in place.
I completely agree. It does exactly what it sets out to do. Now, looking at the specifics, what was the absolute highlight for you? What was your favorite part of this unhurried journey today? And conversely, what was the segment you disliked the most?
Without question, my favorite element was the deployment of the inner monologues inside the limousine. Getting to hear the raw, unedited panic in Portia's mind as she desperately hopes Kyle will text her, contrasted directly with her arrogant outward dialogue, was brilliant writing. It added a sudden, profound depth to what could have been a very one-dimensional mean girl trope. As for my least favorite part, I have to point to the excruciating 15-minute search for Emma's phone in the kitchen.
Why did that specific scene bother you so much?
Because it evoked a very real, very visceral stress response. Reading about that delay perfectly captured the suffocating anxiety of running late while being unable to locate a critical item. It was not enjoyable to read. It was just incredibly stressful. It forced the reader to sit in that anxiety.
That is a very valid critique. It was a highly effective but deeply uncomfortable narrative choice. Now let us review the characters themselves. Out of this ensemble cast, who stands out as your favorite?
Luna is the definitive standout. She is the psychological anchor of the morning. To sit alone in a fast food booth for 30 minutes, entirely unbothered, simply utilizing the free Wi-Fi as a buffer against anger, it shows remarkable adaptability and emotional regulation. She is the stabilizing force that this chaotic friend group desperately requires.
Luna is absolutely the MVP of the morning routine. On the opposite end of the spectrum, the character I struggled with the most, and I know we debated this earlier, is Emma. The hypocrisy of her character design is intensely frustrating. She weaponizes her checklists to force her brother awake, demanding absolute adherence to her schedule, and that she is the sole reason the schedule falls apart because she lacks the basic spatial awareness to keep track of a phone.
Her lack of self-awareness is definitely her primary flaw. If you were tasked with a script rewrite, how would you change Emma to make her a more likable, grounded character for the audience?
The fix is actually incredibly simple. It requires one line of dialogue. When they finally locate the phone after 15 minutes of frantic searching, instead of Emma just brushing past it and yelling, "Come on, brother, let's go meet up," she needs to pause. She needs to drop the glitter alarm clock persona for 2 seconds, look Kyle in the eye and say, "I am so sorry I pushed you to hurry and my mistake just made us late. That is on me." Introducing a singular moment of genuine accountability would instantly humanize her and make her manic energy much more tolerable.
Accountability is the antidote to hypocrisy. That is a superb note for character improvement. And with that final piece of analysis, our exhaustive, slow-paced review of the Moonshadow Adventures comes to a gentle close.
As we prepare to sign off and let you return to the reality of your own day, we want to leave you with a final, lingering thought, a philosophical concept to just let simmer in the back of your mind as you navigate your own routines.
When we dissect that final scene in the limousine, when we look at Portia Belmont, the sports car driven by the nervous squirrel, and Kyle Moonshadow, the serene duck paddling furiously beneath the surface, we see two individuals desperately projecting confidence to hide their profound internal panic. It is a universal human survival tactic. And it makes you wonder, as you walk out of your door today, as you navigate the grocery store, the office, or the street corner, how many of the people you walk past are secretly doing the exact same thing?
How many nervous squirrels are piloting shiny sports cars right past you every single day? How many people are aggressively commanding a room simply because they are terrified? You might notice their hands are shaking. It is a powerful reminder to approach every interaction with a baseline of grace, because you never truly know what the inner monologue sounds like behind the mask. We want to thank you sincerely for slowing down your pace with us today. Thank you for taking this unhurried, meticulous journey through a chaotic morning with Emma, Kyle, Luna, and the rest of the Littlest Pet Shop universe.
We hope this deep dive has provided you with both a moment of analytical clarity and a bit of a smile. Before you transition back into your day, take one more slow, deep breath. Use that yawn-sigh mechanism to release any lingering tension in your shoulders.
We are sending you a very slow, highly considered, and incredibly soothing goodbye. May your mornings be free of missing phones, and may your glitter alarm clocks always let you have your kibble first. Farewell.